night has fallen over the eye of Absalom Station. The four of you holed up in the small quarters that the Eoxian embassy has laid out for you. The data pad sitting on a table at the far end of the room, the hologram projection of Arda Prime still up and visible in its transparent blue state. Arda Prime just a few meters away, watching it, seeing a reflection of herself staring back at her. Pinch and Clink relaxing, counting through their various credits and pouches and various things that they've collected along the way. And Zahak, again, deep in meditation, or at least he would have, does the door not burst open as Flambe a la monkey is brought into the room, sans the flambe, because it is raw, as per request, as it is presented to you on a large metal silver tray reinforced with an ornate draped carpet over the top that the monkey is laid up on.
Can it be a cloche?
A cloche. You'll have to explain what that word means.
A cloche is a silver tray with the dome over the top. So when a French waiter reveals the food, that is a cloche?
Absolutely, there can be a cloche.
Our guest be our guest.
And it's presented, placed just directly in front of you on the ground. Actually, as a bit of a receipt from earlier, from the standing height, it is dropped on the floor and it clangs in front of you.
Zahak hits the floor, his forearms on the ground, his back legs brought up, and he scuttles, forearms kind of dragging the torso forward. He grabs the meat and moves into a corner, dragging it. With his back towards the group, you hear the sounds of meat being slurped.
I suppose that means he's not sharing. You might want to request your own meals from the embassy.
I'll stick with what I've got in my pouch.
One of the security guards, before they leave, says, "We'll be back shortly. Night has fallen. Your escorts will soon arrive."
We'll be ready.
Taking one last look, potentially, as all expressions, potentially, quizzically, at the Kasathan and the various strewn about portions of the monkey meat, exits the room.
Does he normally do that?
It's not normally monkey.
I was just about to say that.
Pinch is unbothered, and he's also busy looking again at the stones that he stole, just trying to figure out what they are.
Clink is a live and let live. Like he doesn't care. He's not like disgusted. He's just curious. He's just like, oh, that's weird.
While Zahak is otherwise incapacitated, does either Arda or Clink have mysticism as a skill?
I do. Untrained.
So
I do.
As you kind of finally tear your gaze away from yourself on the projection in front of you, you turn over and you see Pinch once again kind of staring at these strange glowing rocks in his hand, and something kind of niggles at the back of your brain.
I will.
And it's a good distraction.
19.
Great.
Nice.
So Lutali.
Pay no attention to the man in the corner.
Well, yeah, because
To the ape in the corner.
I figured they have like 4 arms, so they must have at some point like clambered. Like you
right.
wouldn't evolve
Yes.
those.
Zark.
So like having like 6 limbs means that you probably in like a primal
point you
state or
used
like
them.
at some point, and they lived on a desert planet.
Explaining is not making it better.
So they probably like clambered over sand dunes.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
man,
moved
you're
up.
good.
Yeah, it's all good, man. That's fine.
Sand bug. Don't worry about it.
It's finger food, and you got the most fingers.
I figured there's some sort of spiritual significance to what you're doing. It's some defeated enemy thing. You're now like consuming his flesh.
Can I
I
roll?
think the fact that Pinch is unbothered and has been with
that
him a lot
helps.
longer than the group has been together.
Yes.
It's like, well, clearly this is not a concern.
And he hasn't done it at every meal.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't
It's
do
for
it all
special
the time.
occasions.
Yeah.
When are you ever going to be in an embassy?
It's a big
You
gap.
look
What
over
else can you order
at
monkey
Pinch,
meat?
and you see the stones turning over and over, and it takes you a moment, but you recognize them. Usually you will find them in magical shops and such, because these are indeed magical gemstones, but more importantly, they're Eon stones. Aeon. Predominantly, or at least at first, found quite commonly through the Aslanti Star Empire.
Those guys.
Yeah, the basically space Nazis of the Pact world.
Got Nazi rocks.
But they are magic gemstones that, you know, when they are activated, hover above your head.
And do what?
It depends. It depends on the specific Aeon stone. These ones you can ascertain that you know are actually called iridescent spindle Aeon stones.
That
How many of them?
sounds nice. That sounds like it wouldn't murder your own head.
There's just a couple. They're just one thing. Like
Oh,
they're
this
not,
counts as one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not perishable.
I'm just going to add them to my sheet so I can look up whenever
Yes,
you want
yeah.
what they do.
I was going to
That'd
say,
be
what is it?
excellent.
Sorry, iridescent.
They're called iridescent spindle Aeon stones, and these ones, you know, are utilized for a singular purpose, which is to basically negate the ability to breathe.
Or the need to breathe.
Negate the ability to breathe or negate the need?
Negate the need.
You don't want to mess that up.
Negate the ability to breathe.
Yeah, negate the need.
I mean,
to
anything
breathe.
can negate the ability to breathe.
I can do that with my hands.
Lots of ways of doing that. Yeah.
My murder tourist
Yes.
just got really excited for a second.
Pinch. Those stones. They can allow you to travail places where you might ordinarily need to breathe.
Oh. Do you...
I mean, I don't really breathe, so it's not
Well, I
really
do.
an
I quite
issue.
like to. What do? Do you eat them?
They hover around you as a sort of shield or magical force that can augment the wearer or user.
So from a mechanical standpoint, what that means is you need to physically place the stones over your head, and they will begin to orbit themselves.
You're
So
like a sim.
So mechanically, placing them there is a standard action. To take them away is a move action. And at your discretion, whatever you feel is aesthetically appropriate, they can be anywhere between 3 inches to 3 feet away from your head. And they're always going to be on the exterior of any helmet or headwear or any sorts of things. They also have their own kind of AC and such like that. And there is the ability for people to literally try and grab them out of the air off you.
That's what I was about to ask that, so that's good to know. So as long as no one's grabbing them or anything, they can just stay there
They just
indefinitely?
orbit around your head until you decide to not have them.
Okay,
Or put them away.
great.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to always have them orbiting, you can.
That's a great find.
Well, you never know when you're
Steal.
going to be shoved out an airlock. It happens to the best of us.
Stealing
And the worst of us.
Stealing can be finding, Clink.
That's true. Also, I'm not sure how well your grasp of how good your grasp of physics is, but leaving an airlock, needing to breathe, is one of several issues that you'll encounter quite quickly. And maybe not even the worst one. There's
Not
temperature.
All of us
Pressure.
fear space as much as you do.
I don't fear it. I just understand it deeply. And it's
Do you?
As
you're
that question,
back, Zahag.
as that
No, I'm
question
not so
lingers
sure.
throughout the air, the doors open again once more, and we see 2 humans dressed in similar garb to the other Eoxians, in their red and gold trimmed robes. Actually, no, these ones are in more casual black robes to appear A, not like an Eoxian ambassador, but B, to be able to blend more into the surroundings and the night. And one of the Alibrians who is behind the 2 says, "These are your escorts. Are you ready to depart? The time is now."
Are we?
I am.
One sec. Pinch is going to put his rocks above his head and see what
Excellent.
happens. And once they start their...
They glow an amethyst color, and
Ooh.
there are 4 stones, and they start to slowly
Ooh.
just above your head, and you can like feel a slight connection to them, so you can like move them between 3 feet and 3 meters above your head. So how close do you want them to you?
I think Pinch just plays around with it for a minute, though.
Great. So they just keep like...
They're zooming up and down.
Yeah.
Do you like hold your breath?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he, with his huge cheeks, puffs them out, and it's just going up, down, up, down, up, down until, maybe give him 10 seconds, he'll tire himself out, and then they'll kind of come to rest just above where his ears end. So maybe a total of 6 or 7 inches above his head.
It takes you a moment, but you realize that there's like no impulse to breathe in and out. It's a very peculiar feeling. Like that impulse where we're not thinking about it, we just breathe, that's not there. So you are hyper aware of the fact that you are not breathing, but you are still, for all intents and purposes, alive. This is the wonderful part of melding magic and technology in a weird sci-fi fantasy world.
Try not to panic, Pinch, as breathing is obviously second nature to you. You might want to try something else to calm yourself down while you find yourself unable to breathe.
Any suggestions?
I like puzzles. Do you have a
You don't have to breathe. You
Looking
can
at
just
plants.
breathe for fun if you want to.
I do it recreationally.
Exactly.
Does this mean you are ready to depart?
Oh, yes.
Now I'm ready.
We will begin recreationally breathing and leaving.
Arda, would you like to hang on to this, or shall I?
Are you
Pointing to
mentioning
the slate.
Data pad.
The data pad, yeah.
I would like to hold on to it. As I kind of
You
tuck it under my arm.
you boop it, turn the screen off, the hologram just fades down. The two, I was going to say Australian for some reason. The two human necrovites turn around and begin to usher one ahead of you, one takes the rear, and as you exit out of the Eoxian embassy, they take a clear, long route that winds through side streets, through the eye, through the spike, through to the arm. It takes you a good hour. What would usually take 20 to 30 minutes based on the last kind of route that you took, it's taking 3 times that amount just to kind of avoid highly populated areas. There's even a point where you see a replaying of the news report, and again, Pinch, you can see your face with Nick. Good, I remembered correctly. With with Nick kind of like plastered, an old, like, not quite a mugshot because you were never arrested, but you can see like
He was arrested. They never got him to the station.
They jailed him.
Like a photo of you being arrested,
Yes.
pushed into a spacecraft, but that's kind of like a last known sighting.
Look,
sort
it
of
says
thing.
you're still at large.
Yay! I'm actually quite small, though.
That was the joke. Yes, that was the joke I was making.
And eventually,
It was a good one.
you head to the dock, the number of which I have forgotten. But it is the dock.
47.
It is 47. Great.
Oh, good-o.
Someone's been listening to our previous episodes, or just takes good notes, or just fucking remembers
I think he
everything.
loves numbers.
Thank you, Ella.
Or
Remembers
just
numbers.
remembers numbers.
I was going to
Remembers
say, I
numbers.
don't think we'd have that luck if it was a name, but because it's a number.
What? What's in a name? I don't even remember them, so I wouldn't know.
As you have the no wrong answers in front of you, one of them, before departing, just says, Gavelask Nor sends his regards.
Thank you.
Tell him cheers for the credits.
And they leave. They're humans. You can read those expressions a little bit easier.
Yeah.
They're
Should I
still,
give it a go? With my -2?
if you absolutely want.
1. Rolled a 3.
Fucked if you know.
They're just henchmen.
Yeah. They seem nice.
And the bay door opens up once more to allow you access into your ship, the no wrong answers.
Home sweet home.
All aboard?
As you head back on.
Welcome back to the No Wrong Answers. How was your trip?
Hello, Regis.
Eventful.
I
Yes.
know. I have access to the infosphere. It was...
Delicious.
That is not the adjective I would have used, but I was not there.
Has anyone come around to inspect the ship or anything unusual happened?
Besides the various dock workers and people within the arms, no one's specifically paying attention to the ship.
And no alerts out for us apart from Pinch?
Pinch? There has been 20 known sightings of Pinch, most of which have been debunked, as there are many Yosokis and people are quick to jump the gun.
We all look alike. I got cousins everywhere.
However, there have been varying reports of differing associates with a Yosoki, but they are all conflicting, and so nothing has been able to directly link to the three of you.
Well, let's not stick around any longer than we have to. Can you spool up the sublights and see if you can get in touch with dock control? Get us a clearance?
Absolutely. Clarification. What is spool?
It's an old-fashioned word for something that spins. The engine cores, they spin as the...
Like thread.
Yes, like thread.
Ah.
Could you ignite the engines, please?
Metaphor acknowledged.
And then you
Long way to go.
The various machinations and whirrings and splutters start to come as the no
That's
wrong
rattling,
answers, which has not been fixed thus far. As your pilot jumps onto the seat, which begs an interesting question: are you going to be the one talking to traffic control?
Can Regis just get us a clearance?
I guess.
Or I can do it if you don't know.
No, I shall.
We are in the possession of a rather snarky AI.
If I have to do everything. I am attempting differing forms of humor. Sarcasm is the next. Are you enjoying?
It is a bad habit he seems to have picked up. I don't know who has been teaching him this.
I've no idea where he could possibly have got that from.
Hang on, let me roll a sense. You've been teaching him that.
Access has been granted. Where is our destination?
It really tickled me.
That's a great question.
Could you just take us out a few kilometers? We've got a small discussion to have first.
And so, Pinch, you take us out.
Do you need me to roll for that one?
You know what? I know you're going to succeed with your base of 300, but
We don't
please give me a
know.
piloting check just in case.
We don't know. It could be a nat one.
Nat
but
ones
even
don't
then,
fail.
and even then, you'd still
Get a
Yeah.
17. Ooh.
I got a 14.
Maybe it's docked in just real good. It's hard to get out.
DC 13. It's negligible. Like
Yeah.
it's whatever. It's just a nice clean exit as you detach from the docking bay and out from the hangar.
You don't
past
back
the,
into another spaceship.
past the force field that keeps the environmental controls within the station out, past the Armada, the grouping of ships that have their home on the outskirts of Absalom Station, giving themselves their own little orbit, and you get yourself a few kilometers away from the ship.
Ada,
Yes.
does this mean anything to you? Project Prime? Coordinates on Eox?
So to me, Ellen,
Yes.
I got no clue.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Ada pretty much runs along the same lines as you. This
Great.
means absolutely nothing to
Cool.
you.
Excellent. Just wanted to make sure that there wasn't
A disconnect.
something
yeah.
else that I should have been aware of.
Sean, can I quickly just make a mystic check?
A mystic check?
Yeah.
For what purpose?
Can't tell you.
Cool. Easy done.
Great.
Love
Pretty sure
that.
that's not how
None of your
DMing
business.
works.
I'm glad we had this talk.
13.
Yep.
Just to be clear, when they fired it up, that had the little plinth thing colored black and then red.
Yes.
Great.
Cool.
Happy days.
Yep.
You think that's significant?
No.
No. Okay.
Ada.
Chris is playing his own game.
Yeah, I'm in my own little world.
Separate game to us.
To my knowledge, no. I do not recall ever being on Eox. Rather, I remember being created in a creche on Absalom Station. This is a mystery, which, on one hand, is rather invigorating. On another hand, disturbing.
Well, would you like to resolve the mystery?
from my perspective, I don't have much time to do everything I would like. Knowing more about myself, it could bring me closer to living longer. But if not, it would be nice to solve one last mystery.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I think if I ignored this, I'd be forever wondering about what it all meant.
What do you mean you have less time?
Well, it would appear that my soul is not long for my body. We have a regeneration process as androids. I have not begun it, nor taken the steps to, nor would I particularly wish to at this current stage in my life, but it appears that I feel some other soul trying to inhabit my body, as if it were an empty vessel. The time frame on this seems to get shorter every day, like a hand pulling on a glove. I feel it. Perhaps not an apt metaphor.
Arda has been generous enough to let me make some investigations of my own. I've learned a great deal about the inner workings of androids. I essentially have a deep medical knowledge of them now, but I haven't been able to find answers any more than she has.
You say you remember being built on Absalom Station, so this is still your first go-around, as it were.
Well, it is unusual in the way that souls are meant to work for androids, for perhaps everyone. I do not remember anything else before my time, and the androids around me gave me the name Prime. First off my name, I just assumed, because everything felt new, that indeed this was my first go-around.
You are an android who is dying
Yes.
because another soul wishes to inhabit your case,
Yes.
and you wish to know why.
Yes.
Let's find out.
What better place than the planet of death?
And cowards.
Not us, I hope.
Thank God.
Imagine if none of you...
We just didn't take the
We're like,
adventure.
no.
Yeah, we have to pretend that there's an option that we don't, okay?
You
That's
know
how
what,
you
Arda,
tell
you
stories.
had a good run.
Oh no, I was just being like, so Eddie, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to go see us, the edge of the universe? We could just drive.
We could. Honestly,
Let's go in the vast. Let's see what we can find.
This whole story could just change to Arda Prime's bucket list.
Yeah, I was literally
What do you
gonna
want
be
to get done, eh?
So actually, let's just go to a pub.
Yeah, we're just gonna join. We're gonna join Starfinder Society and be like, please send us the furthest away that you can.
Well, hey Arda, you got laid yet? Let's get that ticked away.
Get that squared away.
Pinch, would
It
you
is
like
not
to
square.
make me a D6? Oh, well, before that happens,
We're gonna spool up the drift drive.
So, has a destination been settled? Eox?
Eox it is.
These are the coordinates we're aiming for on the planet, but we'll have to come into orbit first.
Ah,
and you hook the data pad up to
Regis, yeah.
up to Regis, and on the science officer's display, so Arda's display, you can see on the top right hand corner, just in red writing, it's got the coordinates there. It goes,
that indeed is Eox. Absolutely. Pinch, take us away.
Wahoo!
make me a D6, thank you.
What?
Just a D6. I
Oh.
am making you responsible for how long it takes to get to Eox.
Ah.
6.
6 days.
Yay!
So
It's
Pinch,
not
you,
really your fault. It's the drift.
We're taking it low and
You
slow.
don't really have any kind of.
Thank goodness some of us filled up on ape meat.
That's right.
you
I don't know why you guys didn't fill up on 8.
I didn't get a
took
take.
the whole
I didn't
fucking
get
ape.
a takeaway box.
So Pinch, you flip some switches,
ape-away box.
engage some thrusters, and immediately you head into our version of hyperdrive into this strange plane that is adrift, knowing that somewhere within the material plane, something else has been now permanently sucked into the drift forever, because that is the cost of using the drift, is that something gets pulled in along.
as kind of the final switch is flipped to transition into the drift, Pinch is gonna gesture to the rest of the crew and yell, "Hold on to your whiskers!" Because that is what he's afraid of losing in the drift. Yeah.
His deepest, darkest fear.
It's like literally anything from the galaxy. It could be like a blade of grass
your
from a
whiskers.
planet
Oh my
light
gosh.
years away.
It could be
or
our
it could
planet.
be
It
your
wholly,
whiskers.
it wholly depends as well on how long you spend in the drift.
Yeah.
If
6
you're making
days.
if you're making like a trip into the vast, it's most likely going to be a larger chunk of something. Like it is quite relative in that respect.
It's like
too.
6 whiskers.
In the drift, you can find bits of reality that are just in
Just
there,
floating.
just
Just
floating
hanging.
around. But
Let's
I like
find
to. Can we?
secrets.
I see it. I don't know about you. I see it as like literally like a tear opens up and then
Oh.
energy from the ship sort of like gets wedges into the tear and like prizes it open.
I was kind of
then
picturing that you're going hyperspeed but not really moving until
Yeah.
the whole ship is stretched into like a single
Point.
atom and then disappears.
Like spaghetti.
Oh, that's also very cool. I don't know which one of
You're
those. are like
both
more-
right.
Let the audience decide.
Vote now on your phones.
It feels
Get in
like
the comments.
it feels like everything just completely like flattens. Like reality just flattens and squashes itself, and it feels like you're putting a whole bunch of pressure on the ship and on yourselves until at the last moment you pop through, and the what's the word I want? What is it called when you? This is a very simple word I'm looking for here. Like not acceleration, but when you like get thrust
Fast.
forward.
G-force.
Throw.
No, there's a very
Momentum.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word I want. Oh, brilliant.
Thrust.
And the momentum pulls you forward as you start your journey into the drift. You have been listening to Among the Dust, which is a Roll to Cast production. The best way to find us is on Twitter, Discord, and our Patreon. All our podcasts are on Acast, Spotify, YouTube, and all good podcatchers. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/roll2cast. Starfinder and all associated properties are trademark of Paizo Incorporated, authorized through Paizo's community use policy.